Well, back to more difficult weather events in another part of the country. Ex-tropical Cyclone Grant is expected to reform as a Category 1 cyclone on Thursday as it moves across the Gulf of Carpentaria. There are more heavy rains and they're expected to continue to lash the top part of the Northern Territory.
And downpours, as we know, have already caused havoc to transport. We can show you some really amazing pictures of a freight train which was derailed by this. But first, are we getting the update from Darwin?
We will. Reporter Miles Morgan is going to join us in just a moment. But first of all, let's just have a look at some of these pictures here. You can see that 20-carriage train that is quite mangled as a result of those floods. That also saw two train drivers caught up there. But to take us through all the details, we have Miles Morgan in our Darwin newsroom. Miles, can you talk us through some of the cleanup that's now underway as a result of the dramatic pictures that we're seeing at the moment?
Well, that's right, guys. The focus today really is on the cleanup. It seems that the rain has passed Katherine, that heavy, intense rain band, so the worst of it seems to be over. But yes, indeed, the cleanup is the main focus of today. You've just seen those pictures. You can imagine the force involved to get a freight train off its tracks. That freight train is usually crossing only a few metres of water, and you just saw it's a lot wider, really. So the cleanup is the main focus today. Roads are still, the road between Katherine and Darwin is still cut off. It's not clear when that'll be reopened. And of course, what damage there is to the road is still yet to be assessed. But people are still cleaning up. There's minor flood damage in Katherine, so the cleanup focus is really the focus of today. But
it's not over yet. The Bureau saying that ex-tropical Cyclone Grant could again become Tropical Cyclone Grant.
Well, that's exactly right. There is a cyclone watch for parts of eastern Arnhem Land from Nhulunbuy to Numbulwar. They're on a cyclone watch, which means they could expect gales within the next 24 to 48 hours. And then the ex-tropical cyclone, or the tropical low, I should say, is expected to move over the Gulf of Carpentaria, potentially gather more energy and reform into Tropical Cyclone Grant. But then the Weather Bureau says it will possibly go to northern Queensland, to maybe around Weipa. They're not on a cyclone watch yet. It's still mostly the top end that's on a cyclone watch.
Do we have any updates on this, the train that derailed that we saw in those pictures there? We understand that they were carrying some chemical materials and that might cause an environmental issue. Do we have any new information about what that situation is?
Not particularly. We know it was copper concentrate and carbon dioxide, which of course are both toxic materials and potentially harmful to the environment. The operators of the rail, Genesee in Wyoming, the operators of the train, said they did know the area was on a cyclone warning. They sent a four-wheel drive along the tracks before the train passed to make sure it was safe, and they were fairly sure it was safe. So they sent the train across. Obviously it wasn't safe and it was wiped off the tracks, and it spilt some of that copper concentrate and carbon dioxide. So that means there is some in the river system. Of course, none of that damage has been assessed yet, or potential damage, I should say. The Northern Territory Environment Centre says it's going to the area to assess if there are any potential damages to be seen.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on it. Miles Morgan, thanks very much.
Thank you.